Everyone loves a good party. The music, the crowd, the feeling that the night could go anywhere. But sometimes, a night out takes a turn you never see coming. And some people go to a party and come back changed. I haven't been to a party since this happened, and I don't think I ever will again. It was the end of the semester. A house party, the kind where you don't really know whose house it is. You just follow your friends through a door, and suddenly you're inside with 200 strangers and music so loud you feel it in your chest. My name is Priya. I was 20 years old, and I thought that night was going to be the best night of the semester. I remember the girl because of how she was dressed. Everyone else was in typical party clothes, jeans, crop tops, that kind of thing. But this girl was wearing a long white dress, floor length, at a college house party. She stood out completely. She was standing near the back wall of the living room, slightly away from the crowd, holding a drink she never seemed to actually sip. The strange part wasn't the dress. The strange part was that she was waving at me. Not a big wave, a small, slow one, hand at shoulder height, moving side to side, the way you wave at someone you know across a crowded room, like she recognized me. I looked behind me. No one there. She was definitely waving at me. I waved back, confused. She smiled wide, warm, and lowered her hand. I turned back to my friends and forgot about her for the next hour. The party was loud, the night was good, and I had other things to think about. Then my friend Sophie grabbed my arm. "Who do you keep waving at?" she said. I hadn't realized I was doing it. I looked toward the back wall, and the girl in the white dress was there again, waving slowly. And apparently I'd been waving back without thinking the way you do when someone waves at you, and muscle memory takes over. "That girl," I said, "in the white dress. I don't know her, but she keeps waving at me." Sophie looked at the back wall for a long moment. Then she said, "Priya, there's no one there." I looked at Sophie. Then I looked back at the wall. The girl was right there, clear as anything. White dress, slow wave, wide smile. Sophie, she's literally right. "Nobody is standing there," Sophie said. Her voice had changed. Quieter. "I'm looking right at where you're pointing, and there is no one there." I took a step toward the back wall. The girl kept waving, watching me approach, smiling. I took another step. She stopped waving. And her expression changed, the smile dropped, and she looked at me with something that I can only describe as urgency. Like she was trying to tell me something. Her mouth started moving. I couldn't hear anything over the music, but I could see she was saying something, over and over, the same thing. I was about 4 feet away from her now. I tried to read her lips. And then the lights went out, the DJ cut the music for a track transition, someone killed the lights for about 3 seconds, just darkness and screaming and laughter. When the lights came back on, she was gone. Sophie never saw her. Not once, the entire night. I thought about what she was trying to say so many times. I never figured it out. But the thing that stays with me, the thing I can't shake, is this. The next morning, I found out that 3 people had been in a car accident on the way home from that party. 2 of them were fine, 1 of them wasn't. And the description her friends gave of what she was wearing that night, a long white dress. The last thing I remember clearly is walking down a staircase. After that, the next 4 hours of my life are completely gone. My name is Joel. This was New Year's Eve, 3 years ago. The party was at a house I'd never been to, a big old Victorian-style place on the edge of town. My friend had been invited by someone from work, and I tagged along. The kind of party with rooms you haven't explored yet at midnight, which felt exciting at the time. The basement door was open. People were going up and down, music coming from below, and colored lights. It looked like the better party was downstairs. My friend headed for the kitchen, and I went down to check it out. The basement was crowded. Lower ceiling, louder music, darker. I remember getting to the bottom of the stairs. I remember turning around and seeing the room full of people. And then nothing. My next memory is standing outside. Cold air. I was on the pavement in front of the house, alone, coat on which I don't remember putting on. My phone said 3:47 a.m. I had gone downstairs at approximately 11:45 p.m. Nearly 4 hours gone. I had 17 missed calls from my friend. I called him back, and he answered on the first ring, his voice tight with panic. He said he'd been looking for me for 2 hours. He'd gone through every room. He'd asked people. Nobody remembered seeing me. I was completely sober when I went down those stairs. I had had 2 drinks over 2 hours. I know my limits. I know what drunk feels like. And I was nowhere close. Whatever happened to me in that basement was not alcohol. The next day, I checked my phone for anything texts I might have sent, photos I might have taken, anything that could tell me where I was between midnight and 3 a.m. There was one photo. I didn't take it, or at least, I have no memory of taking it. It was timestamped 1:13 a.m. It was a photo of the basement ceiling. Just the ceiling old wood beams, a single bare bulb. The kind of photo that made no sense, taken from an angle that looked like my phone was flat on the floor, pointing straight up. I was lying on the floor of that basement at 1:13 a.m. taking a photo of the ceiling, or something was using my phone. I've shown the photo to everyone who will look at it. The thing that nobody can explain, the thing that makes people go quiet when they see it, is that in the corner of the photo, at the very edge of the frame, there is a hand. Not my hand. Somebody else's hand, reaching into the frame from outside it. Long fingers, pale, reaching toward where I was lying. I don't know whose hand that is. I never found out what happened to me in that basement. And I have never gone back to a party where I don't know the host. Not once. By the end of that night, every single person at the party agreed on one thing: nobody had invited her. My name is Darius. It was my 21st birthday. My girlfriend had organized a house party, maybe 40 people, all friends, all people we knew personally. She'd managed the guest list herself, hand-picked. No randos, no plus ones, without checking first. The woman showed up at around midnight. She was older than everyone else, mid-30s maybe, in a room full of 20-somethings, well-dressed, calm in the way that people are calm when they're completely comfortable somewhere, which is exactly what made it strange, because nobody knew who she was. She wasn't loud, wasn't drinking heavily. She moved through the party quietly, having short conversations, nodding, smiling, like she was making rounds. Like she knew everyone, even though nobody knew her. My girlfriend noticed her first, came and found me in the kitchen, frowning. "Who is that woman?" she said. "I thought she came with you," I said. She hadn't. We started asking around quietly. Who did she come with? Who invited her? Does anyone know her name? And the answer, from every single person we asked, was no. Nobody had spoken to her for more than a minute or two. Nobody had introduced her to anyone else. She had simply appeared, fully comfortable, completely unbothered. At around 1 a.m., I decided to just ask her directly. Walked up, introduced myself. She smiled warmly. "Happy birthday, Darius," she said, like she'd known me for years. "I'm sorry," I said. "I don't think we've met. How do you know?" "Oh, I know a lot of people here," she said, and she turned and looked around the room with an expression I can only describe as satisfied, like she was taking inventory, like the room full of people was something she was pleased about. "Who did you come with?" I asked. She looked back at me, held my gaze for just a moment too long. "I came for the occasion," she said. Before I could respond, someone called my name from across the room. I turned for 2 seconds. When I turned back, she was gone. We looked for her for the rest of the night. She wasn't in the house. She wasn't outside. She was simply gone, the way she had simply arrived. 3 weeks later, my friend David, who had been at the party, was diagnosed with something serious. A month after that, another friend from that night had an accident. My girlfriend started keeping a list. People from the party who had something bad happen to them in the months that followed. She stopped at 7. She said she didn't want to know if the number kept going. I've thought about what that woman said so many times. I came for the occasion, and I think she wasn't there for my birthday. I think she was there for something else entirely. I just don't know what she took.